we like doing here. We like talking to members from our church, Thessalonia, and we just talk to the OGs that got a lot of history, a lot of experience, and we just have conversations. Just we trying to save the people in the streets, people outside in the outside world. We trying to let them know, like, listen, it's okay to come to church. It ain't all that bad. It's okay to come to church. You'll find people in there probably just like you or went through stuff that you can't even imagine. So today we have Brother Anthony here.
Yeah, well, first things first, my name is Anthony M. Jenkins Sr. I was born April 14th, 1957. I'm 68 years old. I've been a member of Thessalonia for 12 years. And the person that brought me here has passed away in 2021. That was Michelle McKinley. I think about her often. I even think about sometimes how people see me, being that she's passed and she was the person that brought me into Thessalonia. And I got baptized here. I be wondering sometimes how people see me or what they think of me, and that I'm still an active member of the church. For a while I was out because of my foot. I'm a diabetic. And I recently have had my toes amputated to save my foot and my leg, because usually diabetics, they amputate up to around the knee. That's what happens to a lot of diabetics. They get amputated around the knee, and then they give them a prosthetic limb. In my case, the surgeons that I had and the wound care doctor that I had in hyperbarics, which is a chamber that they put you in, and it's pure oxygen. You ever seen like the people that scuba dive?
Yeah.
Have the tanks on their back?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hyperbarics is sort of like that, only you're in a chamber and it's like you're diving at the depths about 30 feet. And it's pure oxygen released in the chamber, and this pure oxygen is supposed to help to help growth of tissue and stuff like that.
Okay.
In any case, but in my case, they amputated my toes, and that's saving my foot. It's keeping them from having to amputate the rest of my leg or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
They went inside the leg to open the arteries to get blood flow. I have a nurse that comes 3 times a week to my home to change my dressing. So I don't do it myself. Somebody just changes it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no home attendant or nothing like that because I don't feel helpless. Right now, I don't feel like I need that. Okay. My upbringing is, I came up, well, as I said, I was born in 1957. So I'm a child of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. 2-parent home, mother and father. My mother was the more educated one in the household. My father never went higher than the 2nd grade. He grew up in the South, Sumter, South Carolina, where the men worked, the boys worked, the girls went to school. In any case, my father was a hard-working man. He was a proud man. He was a stern man. There were good times in my life with my parents, and there were bad times. I can recall, though, that at 11 years old is when I told my father, "You're not going to whoop me no more." And I meant it. I meant every word of it. And the whooping stopped. I mean, he used to beat me for anything. But in looking back on all that, I think that made me the person that I am now. I'm patient to a point. After that, there's no more to talk about. I'll let you know where I stand and whether something is irritating me or not, and that's the end of it. I got married when I was 27. When I met my wife, she was 18. And being that I hadn't gotten myself out of the streets, I lost her. I pushed her away. And then I got locked up. And then she came to see me, and I gave her a hard time at the visit. And that's what pushed her away. But I think I did that so that I could get through the bid without worrying about her leaving. So in actuality, I intentionally pushed her away. But that wasn't my right to do that. Hindsight is always 20/20. It's when you look back on things, you start to see clarity. You see things clearer. Now when I look back on that little episode that happened in that visiting room on Rikers Island with my first wife, Chantel, I didn't have a right to do that. I took away her choice to stay or to leave by just simply pushing her away. But to show you how God works, and God has been in my life ever since I was a little boy. But to show you how God worked, when I came home from jail after doing like 6.5 years, she came back to me and told me to come home. Now, she was raised Catholic, so in the Catholic faith, I was the person that we could remarry. They frown on second and third marriages, but we could remarry. And at the time, my middle son's mother was pregnant. And I'm kind of loyal about certain things, and I wouldn't leave her. I told her, I said, I understand all that, but she's pregnant, and just like when you was pregnant, I wouldn't leave you, I'm not going to leave her. No matter what the situation is, I can't do that. And I didn't. And I let her go. And I did that mainly for me, because I didn't want to get back into a relationship with her and then later on down the line, she found herself dissatisfied and wanted to leave. So again, I just kind of like kept her at bay. Now, we talked about me doing 25 years back and forth in the penitentiary, being an idiot, being stupid, doing dumb stuff. But the one thing about me and all that I've done, most of my criminal activity, if not all of my criminal activity, I did by myself. I ain't got no co-defendants. Ain't nobody for me to tell on. Ain't nobody to tell on me. I've did time for guns and assault, and the only thing I didn't do time for was drugs. And I sold a ton of them, but I never got knocked for that. Praise God. In any case, that was my back and forth situation. The funny thing about my jail experience is that in every jail, every prison that I've been in, for some reason, I always connected with the kind of gangster guys in the jail. Give you an idea. In Auburn, there was a dude named Country Dog. He was from Syracuse. He was a boxer. He used to hang out with this brother named Joe Black. Joe Black was a boxer. And there was a team of brothers that worked out together. They hung out with Joe Black, and all of them boxed. Country Dog was on some other stuff. I won't mention his activities, but in any case, when I went to Auburn, let me backtrack. Before I got to Auburn, I had an accident in Elmira because I was in Elmira Correctional Facility. I got hit in the eye with a metal piece off of a valve.
Mm-hmm.
I hit it with a hammer, and it broke a piece about like that, and it hit me in the eye. So I had it. The lens of the eye is shaped like this, and it pushed that in so that it's concave like that. So I had a corneal graft and a lens implant that lasted for 10 years. So in actuality, on my left side, I'm totally blind. I have no sight in my left eye. I only see on the right side. But when I went to Auburn because they were sending me to Upstate Medical to have the surgery done.
Okay.
I did that surgery wide awake. All they did was numb the whole left side of my body.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did time in Elmira Correctional Facility. I did time in Auburn. I did time in Bear Hill. I did time in Warkill. I did time in Arthur Kill, which they call Tales of the Black Star. Arthur Kill is in Staten Island. That's just like being in the street. So yeah, I did a little tour around the state of New York and all the different penitentiaries. But when I came home 2008, I made a conscious decision that I wasn't going back. And I've been in the street ever since, up until this point. I came to Thessalonians in 2012, and I've been here ever since. I met Michelle through her brother. I did computer repair. That was one of my little trades. And that's how I met her. She needed some work done on the computer. I went there to do the work on the computer. One thing led to another. Next thing I know, we was in an actual relationship. And that relationship, it spanned from 2012 to 2021 when she passed away. I went through some changes in here with her. I mean, there was a time where the pastor, where the pastor had us separated in the church.
What's going on with that?
We was listen, Thessalonians. We was actually arguing and not physically fighting, but verbally in the church.
Okay.
And Pastor got wind of it. You sit over here, you stay over there. And he separated us in the church. I sit here and laugh about it now because it was humorous. To me now it's humorous.
Yeah.
It was serious then, but it's humorous now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had some good times in this church. And like I said, God has met me right where I'm at, and I've met God right where I'm at. And I love this church. I love the people in this church. I mean, Shaquan, he's a young man. I mean, I don't watch most of the young brothers in here grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Their fathers, I see young fathers. Aaron, he's a father, a husband. And I'm proud of you guys. I am definitely proud. I'm proud of you guys, man. It's just so much that people don't understand about giving their life to Christ. You change, but you change for the better.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, you're still the same human being, but you're a new creature in God. You know, and it's just a wonderful thing, man. The day that I decided to give my life to Christ, I didn't walk to the front. I floated. That's how euphoric it was for me, giving my life to Christ. I don't remember walking up there. I floated. And the night before that, I went to a party over on 106, an NA party. And I was dancing with this girl from Delaware. And as we was dancing, I was so excited, I said, well, you know, tomorrow I said, I'm going to church and I'm going to give my life to Christ. So we was dancing, and then all of a sudden she went, "Whew, it's hot. It's hot in here. It's hot." I mean, I didn't understand where that came from, but for some reason, after me telling her that, she, I don't know, something touched her. I don't know, but yeah, that next morning, man, I couldn't wait for them to call, for them to make the call to give your life to Christ. Yeah, I was happy to do that, and I'm glad I made that decision.
Glad too.
Glad that I made that decision.
So quick question. So what would you tell? What would you tell somebody right now who's like in and out of church? They one foot in, one foot out. They probably still playing around outside, but they're trying to give life to God. They're trying to find a church. It don't got to be the church. They're trying to get close to God. Like, what would you tell them?
What would I tell them?
Yeah.
First, I'd tell them to pray. Prayer changes things. Secondly, I'd tell them to become honest with yourself, because God already knows what's in your mind, what's in your heart. You got to get honest with yourself. If you're going to give your life to Christ, then give your life to Christ. There is no in between. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It doesn't work like that. It's all or nothing. If you're going to be in the church and you're going to give your life to Christ, then give your life to Christ. If you're going to go the other way, then go the other way. But the in-between stuff, it don't work. A house divided will not stand. See? So that's what I would tell someone that's in between. Either get all the way in or get all the way out.
Man, yeah, man. You don't get no better than that. You don't get no better than that. That's well said. What else I have to ask? Cause so you said do you regret your first wife? Like, do you regret how that situation went?
What I regret is making the wrong decision in the first place. Because I had a good woman. Now, as I said, I was 26 when I met my wife. She was 18. When we got married, she was 19, I was 27. Here's a young lady, she graduated high school. She was a hairstylist. Now, just like a barber, she's on her feet all day doing people's hair, this, that, and the other. At the end of the week, she'd get her pay, and she would bring her whole paycheck and give it to me.
They don't do that no more.
Oh no, you gotta fight him now. No. But yeah, she would do that, and I would take a few dollars out to do or pay a bill or something, but mainly I would let her keep her money because she used her money to buy products, to do hair.
Yeah.
And she showed me how she could go and buy certain products that would last her 4 or 5 months, and she could do dozens of heads, especially relaxing and all that.
Yeah.
Well, the hair business is $1 billion business.
It is.
That's men and women. It's
Definitely.
$1 billion business.
Definitely it is.
And she was a good woman. For what I understand, she had my daughter Chanel, and that's the only child she had.
Oh, okay.
She had no more children after my daughter.
Wow. Are you still in contact with her or no?
I spoke to her about a year ago. About a year or so ago.
Okay.
And the conversation was more about my daughter. And I could tell that she was still angry at me. She's still, even she done remarried and all that, and she lives in Georgia. some place down in Georgia, but I could tell that she was still kind of
Not
angry.
angry, so
Yeah, and she moved to Georgia because Georgia is it's a growth state in many ways, entertainment, construction, hair, the beauty supplies and the hair and all that. It's a growth state. So is North Carolina. But no, I don't regret. To be honest, I don't regret anything. It is what it is. It was the things happened the way they happened. I just could not see myself putting her through anything unnecessary concerning me or our life or any of that. Maybe I robbed my daughter of me being in her life, and that's something I think about often. But it is what it is. There's just no going back. I mean, everything is going forward, you know. And by the grace of God, if it's possible for me to have an ongoing relationship with my daughter, I'm open to that. You know, because I'm dealing with her now. She's a full grown woman. You know, she's a grown woman, so I have to deal with her from that standpoint. You know?
you have a relationship with her?
Well, not really, because she's angry, and she has a right to be. I know where she is, you know, but there's no real relationship right now. And with any human being, there's always two sides of a person. You know, we generally like to show our better side, but we got that dark side too. And right now, she's dealing with her feelings. When she come out of her feelings and start to communicating with me and let me explain some things to her, I think we'll have a much better relationship. But I do know where she is. She know where I am, and she do know that at any given time, if she needs to communicate with me or talk to me, she has my phone number. You know, I'm not a pushy person for certain things. I'm a very laid back person. To some degree, I'm a little standoffish because I don't let everybody into my world. I don't want the influence of a whole lot of people. I pick and choose who I want to deal with. I don't let people pick me. I gauge things. I watch, and I'm very choosy about who I deal with or who I communicate with. You know, it's a true saying that the people that is the closest to you are the ones that can hurt you the most.
Yeah. I believe that too. Definitely believe that. Yeah, man. Basically, everything we talked about last week, you basically hit it on the nail right now. And that was like one of the main subjects that I believe that the people outside have to understand and hear that part.
There's one part I didn't hit on yet, and that's cigarette smoking. I stopped smoking cigarettes September the 13th, 2023. And the reason that I stopped smoking on that particular day was that was the first day I met Dr. Levy. Dr. Levy was the hyperbarics doctor, my wound care doctor. And she explained to me that through my long-term cigarette smoking, it had deteriorated the veins in my legs, in both legs. They're telling me that the right leg is worse than my left. But what saved the right leg and what's saving my right foot is I have no wounds or scars or anything on my foot. which makes me check my feet every day, and I'm very cautious about on my feet. As a diabetic, that's something that I have to be very much aware of. But after she explained to me about how it destroyed the veins in my legs, cigarette smoking now, we can understand lung cancer. But here's the cigarettes is actually destroying the veins in my leg, which was causing me not to have good blood flow to the feet.
Feet.
So when I told you that the toe, August the 23rd, 2023, the toe exploded
He told
with
me.
gangrene. And that was because of poor blood flow. I mean, it literally exploded, pushed the toenail up out of the bed.
Exploded.
Yeah, I ended up at the hospital up the hill, Montefiore, and I ended up staying in the hospital from the 23rd to the 29th of August. They didn't amputate the toe from the beginning. They put me on a regimen, antibiotic regimen. And they went in and opened the artery in the leg and all that. So finally, the day after Thanksgiving last year, 2023, they amputated the toe, the big toe. This year, a month ago, they amputated the other 4 toes because the toe next to it was infected. So they literally, on my left foot, they've amputated all my toes.
What?
Yes. Saving grace. It is saving my foot, or 3/4 of my foot, and it's keeping them from amputating up to my knee by them doing that, because this is considered corrective surgery for me. So they're waiting for it to heal over. They're going to give me a prosthetic piece to put in my shoes
So you can
and
walk.
boot and stuff. And they said there should be no problem with me being able to walk. But it's the cigarette smoking that did that to me. So silently, diabetes is a diabolical sickness to have in the first place because it affects every part of your body. And then you're smoking cigarettes, and that's got over 400 different chemicals in it, and that's destroying your body too. I'm lucky I don't have lung cancer,
Yes.
whereas Michelle died from lung cancer.
Wow.
Yeah. And the funny thing is she didn't want to tell me she had lung cancer or she had cancer, period. How I found out was that she hurt her arm in 2020, December 2020, she hurt her left arm, and she had it in a sling. And she's going back and forth to the hospital. And I kept wondering, how come they wouldn't put a cast on her arm? Come to find out, the reason that they didn't put the cast on her arm is because she had cancer in the bone.
Wow.
So they couldn't put a cast on it because the bone really, it wouldn't heal. Yes.
That's deep. That's deep stuff.
Yeah, these stories, man.
On the one of the things, and this kind of connects to the health, just as a topic. Evan has said previously that being on the streets is kind of like a drug. And I don't know if you agree with that assessment of street life and street culture. But what would you have to say to that? You know, dealing with the streets, like, you know, young people addicted to street culture, and then the process of getting out of that, you know, no longer being addicted to that drug before, you know, it leads to danger.
I wished I knew. I wish when I was 27 that I knew then what I know now. Yeah, being in the streets can be addictive, like anything else. Food, illicit drugs, alcohol. Yes, it can be an addiction. How you cure yourself of that? You got to grow up. You got to mature. You got to allow yourself to mature. Every 7 years, you become a little bit wiser. And you can test the theory. You can count your age now, and in 7 years, look back on life, and you'll see that you done got that much more intelligent or wiser about things. For me, my cure was actually coming to this church or accepting the invitation to come to this church and being baptized here. That's what has helped me to be out of the street. I can't tell you the last time I've been in a club because it's been that long. I don't frequent bars. I don't really drink anymore. And when I came here, I had started to go into NA. I think I had been going to NA maybe 2 years, 3 years before I actually came to this church. So I came to this church clean and sober. I wasn't using anything. After I got here, I didn't see a need for NA. Because, as they say, God is all you need. And that's a true saying. You know,
What's NA for the people who don't know?
Narcotics Anonymous. It's a 12-step program. And it's volunteer. And it's a donation type program. It's been around a long time. In actuality, NA stemmed out of AA. It started out as AA, and then they NA, and they got Gamblers Anonymous, and a whole bunch of them NAs and GAs and A's and all kind of stuff. But they got stuff out there for people who want to get clean, want to stop gambling, want to stop drinking, but you got to want it. You got to want it for yourself. You can't do it for anybody else. You got to do it for self. That's the one thing you have to become selfish about, being clean. And I'm glad I made that move. I'm glad I made that move.